Next up in our program is Ketil Skanke. He is from Norway. He is an enterprise mobility MVP. He's going to talk about the message center. Ketil, take it away.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to my talk, where I'm going to talk about the message center. So why should we talk about a message center? So you moved to Microsoft 365. You're used to having your service windows, your change controls, doing things the old style. But you know, when you move to the ever-changing cloud, you can't do that anymore. You can't have your change window. You can't tell to Microsoft, I don't want this change in Exchange Online before next Friday. I don't want to have this change coming out to Intune this month. I want it next month. We can't do that. So we need to have a way where we can stay up to date on what's going on within the Microsoft 365 cloud. So, of course, where do we start to get information? So the first thing you can do, or think you should do, is like, I'm going to go search the internet, see what's new in Microsoft 365, what's new in security, what's new in Outlook, what's new in Teams. But you know, you will get just blown away. There's so many what's new pages out there, I can't even count them. So Microsoft has built within the admin center, admin.microsoft.com, we can find the message center. So the big question, though, is the message center going to rescue us, allow us to plan, allow us to be adaptive and be agile to the changes in the cloud? I say yes, partly. But if you look here, as Ståle also mentioned, there's a lot of things going on. And if you look here, 278 changes, unread changes in this tenant, meaning it's 278 things I need to maybe plan for and make changes for in my environment. Luckily for us, because we don't all work with the whole Microsoft 365 cloud, I might be working with Exchange or Intune or Cloud App Security. So we have filters. So we can filter on the service that we are interested in. So if I work with Cloud App Security, or I work with Intune or Identity Service, I can make a filter in here, and I can say, yeah, that's what interests me. But again, there's a lot of different levels of information. And in here comes the tags. So with the tags, we can see, OK, this change has admin impact. This change is regarding data privacy. This is a feature update. It's a major update. It's a user impact. This is the things that are interesting for us to know. Just want to mention one thing, though. To read the Message Center news, you need to have at least the role of Message Center reader. If you want to have the messages around data privacy, you also need to have the Message Center data privacy reader role to be able to get access to that content. So I recommend you using that role. Do not use the global admin for this, because that's really not recommended for just reading the Message Center. And it's also available in a mobile app if you are interested in consuming this that way. But who spends their days browsing the Message Center for news? I definitely don't, and I don't think you do either. Why should you? So how can we do this differently? Well, inside the Message Center, there's a button that says Sync with Planner. So let's try to go down the Planner road and see if the Planner approach can make our lives better, make it easier for us to stay on top of what's going on within the Message Center. We can then fetch data out from the Message Center and publish it somewhere where a normal user maybe can read it, maybe don't need any permissions at all. The user setting this up needs to have the Message Center privilege, and it also needs access to a plan, or it needs to be allowed to create a plan. Because the first thing we need to do, of course, to get into this is to set up a plan in Planner. And if you don't have a plan, you need to go create a plan, So let's create a plan. You just go to planner or tasks.microsoft.com. You create a plan, and then we go back to the message center, and then we will see that we can select this plan, and we can connect this and create a bucket for it. So when we have the plan ready, we can move forward, and we can choose what messages to sync. Sadly, we can only have one plan in the message center. So we can't, for instance, like when I was looking at this the first time, I was thinking, hey, this is great. I can take all the Intune tasks and sync into one plan, all the team stuff, and sync into Ståle's plan, and then I'm good. But no, we can't do that either, because you can only have one plan. So yeah, let's select everything and send it to Planner. So then when we select messages to import to Planner, we can also take some history with us if we want to. This is a choice, but I recommend you to take some history with you, so at least you can see how it looks in Planner when you set it up the first time. And then when we move forward, we need to also attach it to the plan, and you need to sign in for the Planner sync to work. And when you set this up, the scheduling, again, this is Power Automate doing this in the background, and you need to authenticate with that user setting this up so that you have the message center reader, you have access to the plan it's writing to, and then we're good to go. So we sign in, and then let's have a look at how this plan finally works in the end, right? So we created a plan, we're syncing all the data over to Planner. This must be solving everything, right? Or maybe not. Okay. So it's in the Planner. I have all my data in Planner. It's all in that one bucket, right? I have a Planner. Everything is in the Planner, but I have no filters. I see categories, I see impact and everything, but everything is in here. But what is this? It's even more unstructured. I can't do filters. I can't do anything. I can assign it to someone, but now I have maybe 278 items in Planner. There must be a better way. Must be a better way. I give up. Ståle. This doesn't make any sense to me.
What doesn't make sense?
So I moved all the data into Planner, right?
Yeah.
I know it's really small down there, but what's the point? It's in Planner. So what? It's all the data. It's just there.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah? Is it great?
Yeah, it's super awesome. You know why?
No, because it doesn't make any sense.
You can keep calm and Power Automate it. I got this. Go sit down.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Need to put this one down.
All right. Because, yeah, that's why we want to have it in Planner, so that we can work with it. We can even incorporate it into our routine I talked about earlier. That's how cool this is. Yes, it's the same information with extra steps in a different place. But the thing is, in Power Automate, you have when a new task is created in Planner, which is like our message center Planner, then we can do whatever we want. That's the power of Automate. Power Automate, you know, yeah? And so here I have an example. The thing is that the conditions, you can look at the title of the task, and then it always says Teams or Intune or whatever, and then you can take that information. If it contains Teams, contains Intune, contains anything else, then you can assign it to someone, you can sync it somewhere else, you can create it another Planner task. You just need to organize this a bit better. This is how it is today. This, of course, may evolve. And what you can do is assign the task to someone. You can, again, move it to a different plan if you want to. You can do whatever you want. But the thing is, you can add people, and you get to see it in the Planner. But the thing is that we can also add it to Microsoft lists, right? We can even incorporate this into our current process, right? How cool is that? Yeah! On 200 more or 300 more actions in our list. How cool is that? The thing is, though, you are not in complete control over these actions. They have a timing issue, and they have different categories. I'm just showing you how to get this into list. We need to parse it a bit more and look into, because it says what kind of ID it has, it says what kind of date it was published, if it's an update or if it's a new one. We see what kind of category, like new feature, like something going away and something like that. So we need to process this a bit more. But this can be part of your process, right? How cool is this? So I think there are 3 approaches to this. Manually sift through this, go through the planner, assign it to someone. Okay, this is not important, we're going to keep that, we're going to assign that, and so on. You can do that if you want to. Yeah, and you can assign the task. You can automate that, assign the task, so everything teams, someone else needs to evaluate that. If it's an end user changing feature, or if it's something with the Office suite, you can have like the adoption team to look into that, and so on and so forth. Or you can add it as an action in your list. And what do you think I recommend? What do you think my thinking is on that? Is to add it to the list, of course. Yeah, yes. But let's look at the why around this, behind the numbers here. These are some of the categories that you find in the message center. You find retirement, major updates, new features, user impacts. These are tags in the message center, and some messages can have multiple tags. And how many do you think were around retirement, features retirement? I think the first feature that comes to mind that has retired, Skype for Business Online. That's gone now in most tenants. And which means that when you are in Teams Online, when you're migrated to Microsoft 365, you can only use Teams and not Skype for Business. Hopefully, you were aware of this. Microsoft has been using the Message Center to inform you about it, so you should have a plan around that, right? How many do you think retired? Was it one feature? No. It was 30 features. All right. Major updates. What are major updates? That is new functionality for something you have already implemented or something you are licensed for, which means that sometimes you get a major update for something you're not using. And then you can ignore that. But a major update could be a new feature, could be a new way of organizing it, could be new capabilities, new best practices. Sometimes you need to evaluate how can we incorporate that in our existing environment. How many do you think were major updates? This is between September 2020 and September 2021. How many do you think it was? Think about that in your head. How many do you think? 60. 60? Yeah, okay. Over a year? Yeah, okay. It's 12 months in a year. It's 52 weeks. That's once a week, people. Major updates. New features. New features could be end user features, could be new functionality for your backend, could be the buttons are moving around, could be moving from the old Exchange Admin Center to the new one with new features, new awesomeness, the phone management in the Teams Admin Center, which just got introduced, stuff like that. How many do you think were new features in the Message Center? (109). But how many do you think had user impact? How many messages where you needed to evaluate if we need to inform users about this? If you need to evaluate, can we work smarter now? Of all the messages in Message Center for the past year, how many do you think had user impact? 168. How many is that per week? I don't know the math for that. That's two big numbers for me. This is the why you need to build this into your process. This is Message Center for you. Microsoft is informing you way in advance. You just need to build a process for capturing it. In total, there were 313 messages in Message Center between September 2020 and September 2021. Just think about that.